Good morning, everyone, and Happy New Year. We're starting off 2025 with a bang in the crypto world. Today, we'll be diving into the potential impact of China's market meltdown on the Bitcoin bull run and some interesting developments with Dogecoin.
That's right. And let's start with the situation in China. Their stock market is off to a rough start with the CSI 300 index hitting its lowest point since September, and the yuan has also slid to its lowest value since September of 2023. The price of gold in Japan has dropped more than 50%.
Yeah, this downturn could have significant implications for the global economy. But in the crypto space, it might actually be a positive development. Some analysts think that the capital flight from China could find a new home in alternative assets like Bitcoin.
Exactly. If investors are looking for a safe haven asset or a way to diversify their portfolios, Bitcoin could be an attractive option. And we've seen this happen before, where economic uncertainty in a major market leads to increased demand for cryptocurrencies.
Of course, we also need to keep an eye on potential interventions by the People's Bank of China. A direct FX market intervention could impact the yuan's value and potentially alter the flow of capital in the US dollar. So who knows? Maybe the Fed will need to effectively control yuan.
That's true. But for now, it seems like the trend is favoring Bitcoin. And it's not the only cryptocurrency that's seeing increased interest. Dogecoin is making waves, with futures markets setting a new record, and analysts targeting a price of $Doge in 2025.
Dogecoin has historically performed well in January, averaging an 85% return. And we're seeing some interesting activity from large investors or whales who are showing increased interest in the largest memecoin by market capitalization.
Yet transactions over $100,000 have spiked, and there have been large withdrawals from exchanges, which could signal increased demand. It's definitely worth keeping an eye on, especially if you're interested in altcoins.
Absolutely. And throughout this episode, we'll be exploring these themes in more depth. We'll take a closer look at the potential implications of China's market meltdown and examine the factors driving Dogecoin's surge.
We'll also be discussing some of the other major news stories in the crypto space and what they might mean for investors and enthusiasts alike.
So stay tuned for more in-depth analysis and insights from the world of cryptocurrency.
As we were just discussing earlier, Layer 2 solutions are changing the landscape for Ethereum users, and it seems that anticipation for one of those Layer 2 networks, Abstract, is causing quite the stir in the market.
You're right. The upcoming mainnet launch of Abstract has led to significant price jumps for both the Pudgy Penguin Solana token, Pengu, and their Ethereum NFTs. In fact, Pengu has seen a 6.5% increase in the last 24 hours and an impressive 45% rise over the past week.
That's quite a surge, and it's not hard to see why investors are getting excited. Abstract, built by Igloo Inc., the parent company behind Pudgy Penguins, promises to bring faster transaction times and lower fees to the Ethereum network. It's likely that investors are betting on the potential for increased adoption and usage once the mainnet launches.
Exactly. And speaking of adoption, it's interesting to note that the Pudgy Penguins NFTs are also seeing a boost in value. This could be a sign that investors are looking beyond just the token itself and seeing the potential for the entire Pudgy Penguins ecosystem to grow.
Building on what we discussed earlier about the importance of reliability in the crypto space, it's interesting to hear the thoughts of Pierre Rochard, Vice President of Research at Riot Platforms. He's made the case that Bitcoin is in fact the most reliable monetary system in the world.
Yes, in a recent tweet, Rochard pointed out that Bitcoin has had an uptime of almost 99.99% since its launch. That's a staggering statistic, especially when compared to traditional financial systems, which often experience downtime and outages.
Rochard's statement highlights one of the key benefits of decentralized systems like Bitcoin. Without a central point of failure, Bitcoin is able to maintain a level of reliability that's unmatched in the traditional financial world.
And it's not just about uptime. Bitcoin's decentralized nature also makes it more resistant to censorship and tampering. This makes it an attractive option for those looking for a secure and reliable store of value.
It's clear that reliability is a key factor in the crypto space, and Bitcoin's track record speaks for itself. As we continue to see the growth of Layer 2 solutions like Abstract and the increasing adoption of decentralized systems, it's likely that reliability will remain a top priority for investors and users alike.
Absolutely. And with the launch of Abstract on the horizon, it will be interesting to see how the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem continues to evolve and whether it can maintain its current momentum.
So we were just discussing how institutions and governments are starting to get on board with crypto. And I think our next story ties in perfectly with that conversation. Animoca Brands co-founder Yat Siu is making some pretty bold predictions for 2025. But
That's right. He's saying that this is the year crypto finally goes mainstream. And I think his reasoning is really interesting. He's comparing it to the internet in the 1990s, saying that once companies realize how useful crypto can be, it'll be a turning point for the industry.
Exactly, and Siu's got a lot of credibility here. As a venture capitalist, he's been investing in crypto for over a decade, and Animoca Brands has become one of the biggest players in the Web3 space.
Not to mention, they've got a huge portfolio of successful projects, including some really popular NFT games. So when Siu says that crypto is on the verge of becoming as essential as the internet, I think people listen.
Building on what we discussed earlier about institutional adoption, I think Siu's prediction is spot on. We're already seeing major companies exploring ways to use blockchain technology, and once that becomes more widespread, it's only a matter of time before crypto becomes mainstream. My takeaways from this interview? Always trust your client and do your diligence, and ask the question.
Speaking of mainstream adoption, let's talk about Solana's Layer 2 scaling solution, Sonic SVM. They're launching their token on Tuesday, and they're doing something really interesting to drive engagement.
That's right, they're doing an airdrop specifically for TikTok gamers, which I think is a genius move. I mean, TikTok has become a huge platform for gaming and entertainment, and by targeting that audience, Sonic SVM is getting their token in front of a whole new demographic.
Not to mention, it's a great way to build a community around the token. By rewarding their supporters and contributors with an airdrop, Sonic SVM is creating a loyal following that will help drive the success of their ecosystem.
And it's not just about the airdrop itself, but the hype surrounding it. I mean, they're creating a sense of FOMO with their countdown on Twitter, and I'm sure we'll see a lot of excitement around the token launch on Tuesday.
Absolutely. It's all about building momentum and creating a buzz around the project. And with their focus on gaming and entertainment, I think Sonic SBM is well positioned to make a big splash in the crypto space.
Building on what we discussed earlier about the market trends, it seems like the recent jump in Bitcoin's price has been fueled by more than just speculation. The latest news is that the price has reclaimed the $100,000 mark and is continuing to climb.
That's right. The US dollar has weakened significantly, and it seems to be linked to the recent report that President-elect Donald Trump's team is considering a more limited tariff plan. This could signal a shift in trade policies and have a lasting impact on the global economy.
Speaking of economic shifts, we should take a closer look at the context behind this decision. During his campaign, Trump called for universal tariffs, which would have had far-reaching consequences for international trade. However, it appears his team is now exploring a more nuanced approach.
Yes, and this could be a welcome change for many businesses and investors who were bracing for the worst. A more targeted approach to tariffs might help mitigate some of the potential damage to global trade. And as we've seen, the markets are already responding positively to this news.
Now let's switch gears to another story that caught our attention. FTX's European arm has been sold to Backpack Exchange for $32.7 million. What's interesting about this acquisition is that Backpack plans to use this as a springboard for a regulated crypto derivatives push across Europe.
That's right. Backpack CEO Armani Ferrante has stated that the firm will be the only regulated perpetual futures provider across Europe. This could be a game changer for the European crypto market, especially given the regulatory hurdles that many companies have faced in the past.
And it seems like Backpack is already making progress on that front. Ferranti mentioned that the firm's MiCA notification has been submitted, and they expect to go live in the first quarter of this year. This could be an exciting development for European investors looking for more regulated options in the crypto space.
Absolutely. As we've discussed before, regulation is a crucial aspect of the crypto industry's growth and mainstream adoption. It's heartening to see companies like Backpack taking proactive steps to work within the regulatory framework and provide more secure and compliant options for investors.
And as we continue to follow these developments, it'll be interesting to see how the European market responds to Backpack's push into regulated crypto derivatives. Will this spark a new wave of investment, or will regulatory challenges continue to hold the industry back? Only time will tell, but one thing is certain: the crypto landscape is constantly evolving, and we'll be here to guide you through it all.
It's been a busy day in the world of crypto. To wrap up our show, we're going to circle back on a couple of stories that really caught our attention. First, the Winklevoss twins Gemini has agreed to pay $5 million to settle a lawsuit with the CFTC over allegations it misled regulators regarding its Bitcoin futures trading.
That's right. This settlement is significant because it highlights the increasing scrutiny regulators are placing on crypto exchanges and the importance of transparency in their operations. By settling, Gemini avoids a potentially costly and lengthy trial.
Absolutely. And it's worth noting that this isn't the first time Gemini has faced regulatory scrutiny. This case serves as a reminder that crypto exchanges need to ensure they're meeting all the necessary regulatory requirements to avoid similar situations in the future.
Speaking of the future, we also saw some interesting news regarding Bitcoin mining profitability. According to a report from JP Morgan, Bitcoin mining profitability rose for the second consecutive month in December.
That's a positive sign for the industry, especially considering the challenges miners faced in 2023. However, as the report noted, miners' daily revenue and gross profit are still substantially below pre-halving levels. So, while things are looking up, there's still a long way to go for the mining industry to return to its former glory.
Another key takeaway from the report is the growth of the network hash rate, which rose 54% in 2024. While this is slower than the 103% gain seen in 2023, it's still a significant increase and a testament to the continued growth and adoption of the Bitcoin network.
And what about the market cap of mining stocks? The report mentioned that it fell 23% to $28 billion last month. What do you make of that?
Well, I think this decline is largely due to the overall market volatility we've seen in recent months. However, it's worth noting that the market cap of mining stocks is still significantly higher than it was a few years ago, which suggests that investors are still bullish on the long-term prospects of the industry.
As we wrap up today's show, what are your final thoughts on the state of the crypto market?
Overall, I think today's news highlights the ongoing growth and development of the crypto industry, despite some of the challenges it's faced in recent months. The settlement between Gemini and the CFTC serves as a reminder of the importance of regulatory compliance. While the growth in Bitcoin mining profitability suggests that the industry is slowly recovering from the downturn.
And what about the market outlook? What can our listeners expect in the coming weeks and months?
In the short term, I think we can expect continued volatility in the markets as investors respond to the latest news and developments. However, in the long term, I'm bullish on the prospects of the crypto industry as adoption continues to grow and more institutional investors enter the space. I think we'll see a significant increase in the value of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin.
Well, that's all for today's show. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll catch you all on the next episode.
And don't forget to follow us on social media for the latest updates and analysis on the world of crypto. Until next time, goodbye.